I'm sure here at this stage, most of you will be shocked. You will be surprised that maybe you've been a millionaire, but the way you've spent that money is unaccounted for. You cannot account for it. So hi guys, and welcome back to Financial Wellness Center. We hope you've been doing well and doing great. So today we are going to discuss on some of the key things you need to be reviewing to know where you're standing at in your financial wellness journey. Remember, we already have into 2024, and it's a great time for you to sit down and analyze your financial well-being. And first of all, I'd love to thank everyone that has been with us through this entire journey, and we are super grateful for the amazing testimonies we continuously receive on how your financial journey has been transformed. So we got that right into the topic. So the first thing you need to check is how much income have you gained for over the last 6 months. So that means the first thing we have to really look into is income. Between January to June, how much did you earn? And this could be either through business, it could be through employment, it could be through one-off sell-offs. For example, you've sold an asset, or you've received a financial gift from someone or some people. Just have an audit of how much income you've earned between January to June. Then the second thing you need to look into is expenditure. How much money have you used between January to June? I'm really tempted to say outcome because the first one was income, but yeah, you have to see how much money have you spent between January to June. If you are able to list everything down, the better. And if you've been using, let's say, a budget template, then this is much easier because you're just able to run through the templates and be able to see how much money you have spent for the last 6 months. Now, I'm sure here at this stage, most of you will be shocked. You will be surprised that maybe you've been a millionaire, but the way you've spent that money is unaccounted for. You cannot account for it. So remember the first point, how much income you've earned between January to June. Then the second point is how much money you've spent between January to June. After you've done this, the third thing you need to do is list down all your debts. Yes, it's very important to list down all your debts so that you can be able to now prioritize the debts according. Most of the time, I always tell my clients, prioritize the debts according to the interest. However, there are some people who prefer to prioritize the debt according to the amount. So either way, list down your debts, because this will give you a snippet of how much money you owe people. It could be people or financial institutions. And then you can, after you've listed, you'll now be able to know which method should I apply to clear these debts, and then find out how long will it take me to clear the debt. And also you'll be able to know where am I standing in terms of my credit score. So list down all your debts. There are various ways to attack debt. Let me just say attack it. And this solely depends with you as a person and of course the current priorities in your life. So you might choose to start by repaying the small debts to the huge ones, or you can decide to pay the debts that have a high interest rate to those that have a lower interest rate. Whichever way, you have to have a plan on how to repay the debts. And my dear, just keeping quiet on a debt doesn't mean that it will sort itself out. You have to do something. You have to come with a plan. After you've done that, the next thing is now for you to look into your savings. Now, this is where you have to look and see, out of the income and the outcome and the debts that I have, how much have I saved between January to June? Now, I understand we are in very challenging economic times, and don't feel bad if you've not saved as much as you would have expected. And also, don't allow yourself to stay there where you are at with your savings. What does that mean? If, for example, so far you've just managed to save 10,000, that is okay. But now you need to look into, how can I save more? Or the first thing you would want to look into is, why should I save? What is the goal? Do I need to save for school fees next term? Do I need to save for a trip? Do I need to save for an investment? Find out, what would you want to save for the next 6 months, and then now come up with a plan. Do I need to increase my income, or do I need to reduce my expenditure to be able to increase my savings? Now, if you're those people who you didn't manage to save anything, maybe you've been living hand to mouth because of the many atrocities of life, this is a time for you to start looking into ways in which you can set aside some amount of money to be able to have a savings in place. And then the other thing now you have to look is your investments. It's very important to list down the investments you have, both short-term and long-term investments, and now review how much they've brought in or how much they've taken out from you. Because I understand there are certain investments you could be having that are taking out from you. For example, maybe you need to renovate an investment before you can be able to economically gain from it. So you need to look into your investments and see which of them has been of great gain and which one has been of great loss. And then now you can make a decision. Should I continue? Should I opt out, or should I sell it off? And then finally, it's the emergency fund. Now, remember, we already have through the year, so it's very important for you to look into emergency fund and see, the last 6 months, how much was I able to put together or to put aside as my emergency fund? And then you have to look and see, was there any emergency that occurred during this time period? And if yes, how much did I use? Why should you do this? This will give you a clear or a picture of how much you would need to be setting aside for emergency fund. Ideally, we usually say you need to have a lump sum of money for 3 months to 6 months. But if you've analyzed the last 6 months and realized, oh my God, it's like every month my car is breaking down, I need to be fixing it, then that means for the next 6 months for 2024, I would need to increase my emergency fund, So it's important for you to look into this and now come up with a strategy of whether to increase, or maybe, of course, don't reduce it, but ensure you're having something set aside in case of emergencies. Now, we will do a recap of the things you need to do to know the status of your financial well-being so far. Remember, I've said number one is you need to know your income. Number two, know your outcome. This is, in other words, how much you've been spending. Number three, list down all your debts. Number four, check on your savings. Number five, your investments. Number six, your emergency. And finally, look into the charitable donations you have done for the last 6 months. And if you've not done any charitable donation, it's okay. It's a good thing that you may want to include into your financial well-being, because we always gain more fulfillment when we share with others. So I would love to know if you have any questions that you'd want us to tackle when it comes to financial wellness. We'll be more than happy to help you. Until next time, let's keep living financially healthy, and don't forget to follow us on Instagram, on Facebook, on TikTok, and of course on YouTube. Bye bye, and remember, you are responsible for your financial well-being.